You've seen the memes. A photo of a 22-year-old guy in 1955 who just bought a 3-bedroom house, a new car, and supports a family of 4, all on a milkman's salary. Meanwhile, you make decent money, maybe even 6 figures, and you feel lucky if you can afford a decent condo. It feels like the game is rigged. It feels like you were born in the wrong timeline. And here's the dark truth. You are right. The American dream you were sold, the idea that a house is a basic guarantee for working hard, was a historical lie. It was a brief 20-year glitch in the economic matrix that has never happened before and will likely never happen again. But that doesn't mean you can't win. It just means you can't play by the rules of 1950. Because if you look closely at history, from the Great Depression to the inflation crisis of the 70s, you realize something fascinating. The game of housing changes every 20 years. And every generation had to find a specific cheat code to beat it. We're going to uncover those cheat codes. We're going to break down exactly how people paid for housing through the ages. And we are going to reveal the only strategy left that actually works in 2025. Let's start in the 1940s, before the suburbs existed. If you think the housing shortage is bad today, look at 1946. Returning GIs were flooding home from the war, but there were no houses to buy. The Great Depression had killed the construction industry, and raw materials had been rationed for the military. The result was a housing crisis of biblical proportions. So, how did people pay for housing? They didn't. They doubled up. In the 1940s, the single-family household was not the standard. It was a luxury. The standard was multi-generational living. A young couple would live in the upstairs bedroom of the husband's parents' house, or 3 siblings would pool their wages to rent a single floor of a tenement building. The financial hustle here was pooled capital. The down payment didn't come from one person's savings account. It came from the combined economic power of an extended clan. They sacrificed privacy for affordability. It wasn't glamorous, and it certainly wasn't the American dream yet, but it was the only way to survive a market with zero inventory. Then everything changed. The 1950s. This is the era everyone points to. The golden age. Suddenly, a 25-year-old veteran could buy a brand new home in Levittown for nothing down and $50 a month. How? This wasn't because of hard work or bootstraps. It was because of a massive government invention. The 30-year fixed-rate mortgage backed by the federal government. Before this, mortgages were short-term, usually 5 years, with massive balloon payments at the end. You needed 50% cash down. The 1950s changed the rules. Suddenly, the government was subsidizing the risk. Developers applied assembly line techniques to housing, building 30 houses a day. Supply skyrocketed. Demand was subsidized. For this one brief moment in history, median income and median home prices were in perfect sync. A single income could support a mortgage, a car, and a family. But don't let this fool you. This era created a false expectation that housing should be easy. It was an economic miracle that lasted about 20 years before the reality check hit. Welcome to the 1970s and early 80s, the era of the interest rate apocalypse. If you think rates of 7% are high today, look at 1981. To fight massive inflation, the Federal Reserve jacked interest rates up to 18%. Do the math on that. On a $100,000 loan today, your monthly payment is maybe $700. At 18%, that same payment is $1,500. It effectively tripled the cost of a home overnight. Banks stopped lending. Buyers disappeared. The market should have crashed to zero, but it didn't. Why? Because the 1970s generation invented creative financing. This was the era of the hustler homeowner. Since nobody could afford a bank loan, sellers became the banks. This is where we see the explosion of seller financing and land contracts. A buyer would say, "I can't get a mortgage, but I'll pay you a down payment directly and then pay you monthly installments with interest." They bypassed the banking system entirely. They also used assumable mortgages, taking over the seller's old lower interest rate instead of getting a new one. People paid for housing in the 70s not by having more money, but by structuring better deals. By the 1990s, rates had cooled down, and a new psychology took over, the era of suburban expansion and debt. Houses got bigger, the rise of the McMansion, but the way people paid for them shifted dangerously. In the 40s and 70s, a house was a place to live. In the 90s, a house became a piggy bank. This was the explosion of the HELOC, the home equity line of credit. As home values rose, people stopped paying off their homes and started pulling cash out of them to buy cars, vacations, and renovations. The hustle of the 90s was speculation. The belief that housing only goes up led people to buy more house than they needed, with less money down, banking on future appreciation to bail them out. It worked. Until 2008 proved that it didn't. Which brings us to today, the 2000s. If the 50s was the era of the owner, this is the era of the new feudalism. You aren't just competing against other families anymore. You're competing against the algorithmic landlord. Massive institutional investors like BlackRock and Vanguard are buying up single-family starter homes by the thousands to turn them into permanent rental units. They are turning the American dream into a subscription service. Prices are stuck at 2022 highs, but interest rates are hovering near 2000s levels. This has created the golden handcuffs effect. Nobody who locked in a 3% rate in 2020 is selling, which means inventory is near zero. The traditional path, save 20%, buy a nice starter home, live in it for 30 years, is mathematically broken. If you try to play that game, you will lose. So, how are people actually buying homes right now? By waging a form of economic guerrilla warfare. Strategy 1, the house hack 2.0. In the 2010s, house hacking meant buying a duplex. Today it's more aggressive. It's about monetizing square footage. Buyers are specifically targeting properties with ADU potential. Accessory dwelling units. They are converting basements, garages, or even backyard sheds into rental units before they even move in. They aren't looking for a home. They are looking for a micro business that pays its own mortgage. Strategy 2, the assumable mortgage. Hunt. This is the hidden gem of the 2020s. Millions of homes have FHA or VA loans attached to them with interest rates under 4%. These loans are often assumable, meaning you can legally take over the seller's existing loan and their interest rate. You aren't buying the house, you are buying the loan. Finding these deals requires digging, but it can save you $1,000 a month instantly. Strategy 3, geo arbitrage and remote investing. The location rule has changed. If you work remotely, you no longer pay the city tax. We are seeing a massive wave of young buyers skipping the expensive coast entirely and buying in the Rust Belt or the Midwest, places like Ohio, Missouri, or Tulsa, where the rent-to-price ratios actually make sense. They live there, or they buy there as an investment, while renting cheaply in the city. And unlike the 70s, you have a weapon they didn't: data. You don't drive around looking for for sale signs. You use AI-powered real estate tools to scour county records for distressed sellers, people with high equity who need to sell fast. You use AI to analyze the rental yield of a basement conversion in seconds. The market today is hostile. It is unfair, but it is not impossible. It just demands that you stop acting like a consumer and start acting like an investor. Here's the bottom line. Stop waiting for the 1950s to come back. That era was a fluke, a glitch in the matrix caused by a world war and a government spending spree. It's gone. The reality of housing is what it was in the 1940s and the 1970s. A struggle that rewards resourcefulness. The people who win in this market won't be the ones complaining that prices are too high. They will be the ones who pool their capital like it's 1946. Structure creative deals like it's 1981, and hack their asset like it's 2025. The American dream isn't dead. It just requires a lot more hustle than it used to.